You don't wake up one morning, look at your partner, and think, you know what? Today feels like a great day for a $15,000 legal battle and a fight over who gets the toaster. Divorce doesn't usually strike like lightning. It's more like a slow-motion car crash that takes 10 years to happen. But here's the wild part. Psychologists like Dr. John Gottman can watch you argue about the dishes for 3 minutes and predict with 90% accuracy if you'll stay together. Before we dive into the how, we have to talk about the who. For over 40 years, Dr. John Gottman, a man often called the Sherlock Holmes of relationships, turned a small apartment in Seattle into what he called the love lab. He wasn't just listening to couples talk, he was measuring their heart rates, tracking their stress hormones, and coding every single micro-expression on their faces. From all this data, he identified 4 habits so destructive, he named them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Why the dramatic name? Because in the biblical sense, these 4 figures signal the end of the world. And in a relationship, these 4 habits signal the end of us. They aren't just bad habits, they are a psychological roadmap to a breakup.
The horsemen. If these 4 show up in your living room, the end of the world for your relationship isn't just a possibility, it's a statistical probability. Horseman number 1, criticism, the character assassination. There is a massive scientific difference between a complaint and a criticism. The complaint, I'm upset the dishes aren't done, focuses on the behavior. The criticism, you're so lazy, you never think about anyone but yourself, focuses on the soul. When you use words like always or never, you're attacking your partner's personality, which eventually triggers their brain's amygdala, treating it like a literal physical threat. Gottman found that this sets off the harsh startup. Here's a chilling stat. 96% of the time, you can predict the outcome of a 15-minute fight based on the first 3 minutes alone. If you start with a character attack, the plane is crashing before it even leaves the runway. Horseman number 2, contempt, the acid of the heart. If criticism is a grenade, contempt is sulfuric acid. Gottman calls this the number 1 predictor of divorce. It's the eye roll, the awe, the mocking jokes, and that subtle look of disgust. Contempt is different from anger because it comes from a place of superiority. You're saying, I'm better than you. In the love lab, Gottman discovered that couples high in contempt actually had weaker immune systems. You aren't just hurting their feelings, you are quite literally making your partner physically sick. And spoiler alert, nobody wants to sleep next to someone who thinks they're a peasant.
Horseman number 3, defensiveness, the victim shuffle. We've all played this card. You're confronted with a mistake, and instead of saying, I'm sorry, you say, well, what about the time you did this? Psychologically, this is called cross-complaining. You're saying, the problem isn't me, it's you. It turns every conversation into a court case where you're the lead defense attorney. When you're busy defending yourself, you've stopped listening. And when you stop listening, the connection dies. Horseman number 4, stonewalling, the silent shutdown. This usually happens when the 4 horsemen have been galloping for a while. One person just stops responding. They look away, they go quiet, they check their phone. But here's the fascinating data from the love lab. Stonewallers aren't usually bored or indifferent. Their bodies are in a state of physiological flooding. Their heart rates are often spiking above 100 beats per minute, triggering a fight or flight response. Their brain has literally shut down the logic center to save power. They aren't giving you the silent treatment. Their nervous system has crashed and is trying to reboot.
So, does a fight mean it's over? Not necessarily, because here comes the golden ratio. Gottman's research showed that healthy couples still fight, they just have a different math equation. He calls it the 5-1 ratio. Stable couples have 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction. If you have a blow-up, you need 5 moments of kindness, touch, or laughter to balance the scales. If that ratio flips, if you're at 1-to-1 or 0.8-to-1, your emotional bank account is overdrawn and the fees are killing you. Here's the truth most people miss. Relationships don't fail because of big, dramatic explosions. They fail because of these 4 small, repeated patterns. But the good news? Everything Gottman found in the Love Lab isn't a death sentence. It's a weather report. If you see the 4 horsemen galloping toward you, you still have time to close the gate. Start by softening your startup. Trade the eye roll for a thank you. And remember, the goal isn't to win the argument. It's to keep the person. Pay attention to the small things, because in the Love Lab of real life, the small things are actually the big ones.